Today, we're going to be creating a make.com automation to create some insane AI SEO articles using Claude and Perplexity in a one-click AI SEO workflow. We have Kasra Dash in the building.
Hello.
And today what we're going to be doing is just building this automation live and then showing you exactly how it works step by step. So what I'm going to do is pull up the screen and show you exactly what I mean and how it works. And also what I'll be giving away at the end of the video is the template that I created, the tool, and all of the prompts and step-by-step workflows along the way. So this is make.com. If you've never used it, it's free for 1,000 operations, kind of like Zapier. You can automate a lot of cool stuff. And if we log in right here, give me a sec, and we'll do this. Have you ever used this tool before, by the way, Kasra?
The only time I've used it was the last time when we were doing a video on it. I've not actually had the time to check it out, but I do kind of get the understanding. Like, it plugs into different AI models, and then you can get certain AI models to read, let's say, a spreadsheet, and you can just do things en masse, really.
Yeah, it's pretty cool as well, because now you can, like, for example, if you create a tool, say with AI on ChatGPT or something like that, you can't integrate different AIs together. You can't get them working together. So, for example, with these sort of workflows, you can bring Claude together with Perplexity using Claude 3.5 Sonnet, for example, and then you can plug that into a Google Sheet, and you can just link like all the best AIs together and get the best out of everything. So, for example, with Perplexity, it's actually one of the few APIs where you can actually crawl a live page that's already been published and indexed.
Right,
Whereas
okay.
with Claude, you can't do that, for example, or ChatGPT. I don't think you can do that unless you have like some advanced coding skills, right? So, going to create a new scenario over here, and we can start building this bad boy out. And first thing that we're going to start off with is a Google Sheet. So we'll just create a Google Sheet with our keyword, and then we can plug that into the spreadsheet. And what we're going to do is click on Watch New Rows. And from here, we'll choose the spreadsheet ID.
See, this is the part where it kind of goes a little bit over my head, but last time when you were actually setting up the sheet, you explained it pretty well, like the workflow and stuff. So if I remember correctly, you just get the ID of the spreadsheet and then the tab name as well.
Yeah, exactly, right. So let's call this, for example, Perplexity and Claude Insane Articles Automation. And then what you can do is you can have this column called URL, and from here plug in, say, your competitor's URL, right? So for example, let's say when you're creating a content outline, you would always reverse engineer your competitor's article, right? That's like the first place you start with the top ranking articles. So for example, let's say we have a page ranking for us. Let's see what we got on there. On here, we can take an article like that. We'll plug that in as URL, and then we can link this spreadsheet right here from Google Sheets directly into make.com. So I'm going to click on choose a new file, and we'll search for that one right there. Just refresh. So we've just created it. Also, I think it's really good to have you on this as well live, because you can, if someone is watching this and never created like a make.com automation, you can sort of ask the questions,
Yeah,
stop people
definitely.
getting left behind, basically. So we'll choose a sheet name, which is just a sheet from the automation.
So that's
we
the tab, right?
Yeah,
What you're
exactly.
right, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll put competitor URLs
If
here.
you rename that now, you don't need to re-add that sheet name, do you?
Yeah, you will want to.
Okay.
Yeah, so for example, you can just refresh here. It'll take a minute or so, and then it'll pull out the new tab right there. And then you can also limit this. So you could say, right, I want to run this for 100 competitor URLs, or I just want to run it for like 1 or 2. And in this automation, we'll just run it for 1 for now. And then what we're going to do from here is we're going to use Perplexity AI, to make an API call. And you can just link the API from your Perplexity account to make.com to scrape the URL, right? And so you can take the URL from column A and then do whatever you want to do with it. Now, I think it's really good to have you here as well, because we can sort of run through the best way to create a content outline
Yep.
and use that as a basis for this prompt.
Right, okay.
So what I'm going to do is, I'll delete that for now, and we'll reopen Perplexity, and we'll say create a chat completion. You can select the models here, which is pretty crazy. So you can choose between, say, Mixtral or Llama. We're going to go with Llama for now. And then we're going to add an item. We'll select the content as the URL from column A, which is this one right here. We're going to select user. And then in here, we can plug in our prompt, right? So we can say, using this URL, create a content outline for my SEO article targeting the same keyword. Now, typically, I know when you're creating content outlines, you try and figure out, okay, what are the LSIs and what are the relevant entities that you want to include inside your article, right?
Yeah, definitely. I sometimes, I know we might not be able to do it with this. Actually, we might be able to. I sometimes give it a little bit more info. So, for example, if there are certain groups of keywords that I know, I would mention that. So if it's like best running shoes, it might also be best running shoes for men, and that might be like a very similar page. But to be honest, if we're giving it the competitor URL, we might not need to do that because they might already be mentioning that throughout their article.
Yeah, exactly. What else would you want to include inside the content? Like, for example, include some relevant FAQs.
Yeah, include like commonly asked questions, and then obviously making certain that the keyword that we're targeting is mentioned within the first like sentence.
We'll do that within so we'll actually have a separate prompt for the introduction.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
And then what about with the URL? Are we able to extract certain things from the URL? Because sometimes websites have like really SEO-friendly URLs. Is that something that we can do?
Yeah,
Or...
so we'll do that later as well. We'll actually have
Right,
a
okay.
separate automation for the slug, and we'll
Right,
plug
okay.
that into WordPress as well, which should be pretty useful.
I'm
So
jumping way too ahead.
you just no, it's good that you're thinking about these things too, because I was thinking the same. Like, have a separate section for the introduction, have a separate section for the slug, and then you can plug that all into WordPress later as a
Right.
draft. And so, using this URL, create a content outline, give me the semantically relevant keywords, LSIs, entities from the article, and then I guess you would include, say, the top 10 headings.
Yep, subheadings. Include the top 10.
Semantically relevant headings plus subheadings.
In some cases, again, I've not seen the output of this, but whenever I've done that before, like include the top 10 subheadings, in some cases websites just have like really bad subheading structure, so they might like be mentioning like John, the managing director, on every single page, and they've used John as a H2, and sometimes it pulls that in. So it'll be interesting once we get this back to see if it's done that or if it's done it the correct way.
Yeah, the other thing I would say about all this is like no one ever gets it right first time.
No.
Like there's so many ways it can mess up, so many different variables. So it'll probably make a few mistakes as we go along.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right. So we've got the content outline prompt right here, and we're just going to rename that content outline prompt. We'll hit OK on there. The other thing that we might want to think about as well is, for example, sometimes you might want to include like some knowledge from that first page we created. I usually do that with Perplexity, but just for the sake of keeping this simple and avoiding like too many variables that can go wrong, I'm just going to stick with moving on to Claude from here. Now, I think Perplexity is amazing for scraping live URLs. It's amazing for breaking down content because it's an LLM, so it understands the language probably better than most humans would. But it's not great for writing the content. We've tested it before and it's been absolute trash, isn't it?
Yeah.
Terrible trash. Throw it in the bin.
It's
Call them spammers on Twitter.
yeah, yeah, it's not great. The content. We always call it AI hallucination, and it just spits out like anything that it can get its hands on. The one thing I will say, it formats the content pretty well. So if you want really nice, well formatted content, but the content's full of lies and garbage, then by all means, just use it. But yeah, you definitely need to be double checking and cross referencing the actual content. And sometimes I understand, like, some of you guys might not be writing about a content, or sorry, some of you guys might not be writing content about a topic that you understand. But if you just spend the extra 5-10 minutes, or get an editor, let's say you're quite a big organization, get an editor or hire an editor to just spot check and fact check everything that AI is spitting out.
Yeah. So from here, we're going to add a new module, and that's going to be a router. So essentially, what we can do with the router is we can
Does
take
it
the
connect to the
outputs.
Wi-Fi?
Yeah, that helps too. Also, if this gets messy, you can click on auto align and it just like aligns everything nicely in the spreadsheet. Like, for example, if that goes all the way over there, you can just click auto align and it will correct it right there. But essentially, what we want to do is route the information from the content outline prompt to, say, WordPress, to social media. You could have multiple websites. Like, you could create the content for multiple websites and use it right there. So what we're going to do from here is we'll delete that module right there. And then we're going to route that information from Perplexity into Claude. And so I'm going to create a prompt with Claude. 3.5 Sonnet, I would say, is by far and away the most superior AI for writing content that I've seen on the internet. I don't know what you think, Kasra.
Sorry, say that again. Your voice cut out for a second.
Yeah, I would say the Claude 3.5 Sonnet is the best AI writer.
I mean, yes and no. So I tested Claude recently, and I don't think that the content was great, but we'll go with it for now. I just thought that it was, to be fair, it might have been to do with my prompt, because I basically, what I was doing is I was testing Claude 3.5 versus ChatGPT Mini, and the prompt was literally, here's a load of subheadings, go and write it. And I just felt like the content just wasn't really up to par. But it'll be interesting to see what it comes back with the Perplexity outline. I think that with the Perplexity outline, it's going to be a lot better than how I had it set up.
So what we're going to do from here is we're going to take the content from Perplexity, right? So it says choices, then we select the drop down, then we're going to select message, and then we'll select content, right? And essentially that's taking the output from Perplexity here, plugging it into Claude, and then from there we can create the content. Now, there's a few different prompts that I like to use with Claude. I know we created a few together as well, but I'm going to take this one right here, and we're going to take this prompt, which I'll give you access at the end of this video if anybody wants access to it. We'll plug that into here. And so I'm going to put content outline, colon, equals the output from Perplexity. Then I'm going to take the keyword, and actually I think we should probably break down the keyword from this step as well.
Yeah.
So give me relevant keyword from page 2. We'll hit OK on there. And then going back to Claude, we've got the prompt. We'll say using the content outline, write an SEO article, write as me, first person. For creating the content, every sentence in a new line, add a conclusion, add FAQs, etc. Chop up complex tips into bullet points.
I think one thing that you've actually got this in your prompt, but for everybody that's watching this, making certain that you actually mention which grammar you want. Is it UK or US? Because in some cases it defaults to US if you guys are in the UK and stuff like that. So just mention which kind of grammar you want it to go down as well.
And then we'll hit OK on this. And we also want to get the slug from the relevant article. So I'm going to say, we'll just put 1000 tokens for that. Add a new message. I always choose user as a role. And then we'll choose type as text. And then from here, we'll say, based on the choices from Perplexity, create a URL slug for the page. Don't include the main domain, just slug, e.g. / keyword. And that's basically going to generate the slug for the URL.
That's good. And then just a quick question, because obviously you were mentioning that you can output the content once it's come back. Are you able to output it in, let's say, just normal documents? Like, can you just download them, or does it need to find like an endpoint? Like, does it need to upload to Julian Goldie's Twitter or juliangoldie.co.uk?
You can send it wherever you want. Like, you can link Google Docs to it or Google Sheets and that sort of thing. So like, if you have a writer that's got the same Google Doc access as you, then you could just plug it into the Google Doc.
Also, if we were going to do this on mass, let's say we wanted to do like 5 articles, it will just go and create 5 Google Docs with 5 individual articles for each article.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, right, okay, that's quite cool.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do with Make. Like, it's crazy. I've seen some people build like faceless automations with video and that sort of thing. All
Yeah,
sorts
that's crazy. What one thing I would probably say for anybody that is looking to do this is I think that the go-to strategy for this, it would probably be creating it as an actual Google Doc and then getting an editor to go back in and edit it and just spam check everything, because like I know that we're making this look very easy, or well, Julian's making it look very easy. I'm just the pretty face right now, but the whole purpose of this is like Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, they all massively hallucinate and they just spit out a load of garbage sometimes. So if you're in like a really tough industry, let's say it's something like super like niche, like I don't know, manufacturing sandals, let's say, right? There might not be that much content on manufacturing for sandals. And if you're just getting Claude or ChatGPT or whatever AI model you're using to write content for you, it can definitely just add in a load of lies.
Yeah, what I think is one of the best ways to do it is like you just, and this is what I'll show you in a sec, but basically you can send it to WordPress as a draft. And then it's just got the content in draft. It's not published, it's not out, it's not going to index or anything like that. And then you get your editor to go in, manually look through the draft, use the checklist I'll give you in a second, and then from there you can make sure it's not spam and it's fact checked and everything else.
Yeah, that's a good way. And then whenever it's like in draft mode as well, you can also build more internal links to the pages that you want to rank higher as well. So that's probably even better than just doing Google Docs.
Yeah, exactly. So for the introduction, I'm going to say write a short keyword optimized introduction relevant to the topic, 3 lines maximum. Include a rhetorical question. And basically, you're just trying to keep it short, easy, straight to the point, etc. You want to ensure the keyword is in the first sentence. And also, I don't know, write it in the style of Alex Hormozy. something like that.
Loves that prompt.
Every time now. It's been abused, that prompt.
Do you know what? I used that prompt the other day for something, and it was absolutely garbage what it came back with. I was like, I thought Julian said that it's working really well for him.
So we can test it in a sec. I'm going to unlink this. So if you create an automation, you're like, oh, I accidentally put my introduction at the end of the automation. It should be over there. What you can do is just right click, unlink, plug that into the automation, and then just click on auto align again, and it's just neatly organized again. And then the final method is we're just going to plug this into WordPress directly. So if we go to create a post, we'll change this to whatever WordPress website you wanna set up.
If somebody is looking to just like add like a new website, they don't need to like install a plugin, nothing like that. You can literally just is it literally just the add button at the top?
Yeah, exactly. So you would just go to, like, if you want to add like a new plugin, just click on add a module, and then you can search for whatever apps.
No. Sorry. Let me rephrase my question. If somebody wants to publish it to their website, they don't need to like install make.com plugin on their website, do they?
No, I don't think so. As far as I know, I think you just link it directly in Make, and then set up from there. As far as I can remember, but it's been a while. So I'm going to put content creation in that section. So we've got introduction, content creation. Then from here, we're going to have the slug. I think it's always good to like rename the modules just so you know which part each does. Keep it organized. And then the final method is just, we'll probably want to add like a title in there as well. So I'm going to add a new message. Do you have any recommended prompts for like keyword optimized titles?
Keyword optimized titles. Maybe I'm just a little bit lazy with optimizing. Oh, actually, sorry, titles. I always try to make it a little bit clickbaity, but always remember to use the actual keyword. One thing as well is try to use the keyword first, then make it clickbaity. So, like for example, the best running shoes for men. You won't believe this, or you won't believe this. What we found. So something along those lines.
Okay. Yeah, so make it clickbait, use the actual keyword from the content outline, and front load the keyword in the title.
Yep. Sounds good.
Make it short too. Okay. Let's
could
see
also,
how badly this goes.
I was going to say, in the page title, you can also mention how many characters you want it. Because how many characters is it that you can actually have in a page title? Is it like 45 or something?
Yeah, you probably want like just, I don't know, 8 words maximum.
Character limit for page titles. 60 characters or 575 pixels. So you could mention that in the actual prompt itself.
65 characters, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so we've got the title prompt there. We hit OK, and then we just need to plug this all into WordPress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and run this. Let's set this up right. Delete that. Go into WordPress. Choose a title. So this is number 6, which is the title. We're going to select content and then text. For the actual content, we'll take the content from this module right here. And for the type,
can I be really annoying?
You can.
When you selected the content text, So if you just scroll back up to above posts for a second, how do you know which module you're looking at?
So it's got the numbers there, and you see how it bubbles
So
up as
you've
well.
got,
It's
so
bouncing,
that's
yeah.
5, and then for the title it's 6. But what does that correlate to?
See, if you go back here, it's hard to see without actually running the automation. It'll become a lot clearer once the automation is run.
Right. Okay.
But if I hover over 5, you can see it
Mhm.
bobbling up in the background. So you see how it's
Oh,
bouncing up and
right.
down.
Okay. I see. I see. I see. Right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what? That's the one thing that I don't like about this make.com. I think that could definitely be improved a little bit.
Yeah, it's not perfect. It's
Yeah.
definitely not perfect. But it is free as well. I mean, it's like,
Yeah, that is true. For something free, we have used it a lot for that.
and then also it's labeled it now. So you see how it says
Ah, right.
introduction,
Yes.
content creation. Slow. It took a while to show up there, but it's just showing up there. So we'll take the content text right there. And actually, for the content, we will take the introduction, and then we'll add the actual content from the content creation section, add the text in there. For the title, we want to be using that. And we'll delete that. So we've got title here, content, introduction, and the actual content type. For this section, we'll select the slug, which we've got there. So you can see it says slug, and then
Yep.
we've plugged that in. And then for status, wait for that to load, and we'll change that to draft. Always edit your content, folks. And then we'll click OK. And we're just going to run that for the first one. Now, it could
Do
totally
you
mess up.
think? Do you think it'll work first time?
No,
Right.
I
Okay.
think it'll probably mess up in ways that I've totally forgotten. But I'm going to hit run now and see what happens. So it's running the Perplexity prompt. And you can actually see the outputs if you hover over there. So you see how it says 1?
Yeah.
So it's giving us the outputs right there. And then this is the choices. We can find the message, content, and then it's created a content outline right here, right?
Mm.
So that's the actual content outline. And then it's got stuck over here. So I'm just going to see what we got here. Now, in terms of the introduction, it feels very fluffy. So we can actually edit the prompts right there. But you see how it says looking for the best rapid website indexer to skyrocket your online presence. Very, very fluffy. Wouldn't recommend writing your intros like that. And so what I'm going to do is actually take a lot of the prompts from here. And we'll take that. We'll move that up right there. And we'll just take this prompt so that we get a better output from the actual introduction. So we'll copy that, go back to make, edit this bad boy. Plug in the prompt that works for us before, hit OK. And then there's been an error. So we got kind of like 60% of the way there. Not too bad, actually. It's definitely gone worse in the past. So you see how it's got too many tokens? It's because Claude has a maximum tokens of 4096.
What does that mean?
It's like the amount of tokens that it uses to generate the output.
Oh, right. Okay. So it actually asks you whenever you're setting up like one of them bubbles, how many tokens you want to use.
Yeah, and then, for example, for the title, like you're not going to use many tokens for that.
Right. Okay.
So we'll run again, give that a whirl, and when you're running it again, you want to choose where you start. So we'll choose manually, we'll go back to our spreadsheet. We'll take the medium article that we're scraping, we'll hit run once, and we'll see what it produces. By the
Do
way,
you
how much
think it'll?
smoother has this gone than last time?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I done a video on AI SEO, and I said like we make it look so easy, when in reality it's not. Like you just have issues like this all the time. Like what's it saying now? Overloaded. Have you overloaded
We've
Anthropic?
overloaded. Hmm. Click on ignore all errors. And what's happened here? I don't know. We'll try overloaded. All right, maybe we've put too many tokens in there. We'll just put 2000 for now. See what happens there. Hit OK. We'll run it again.
Third time lucky.
Let's see what happens. What is
Invalid
that? What is a
instance
catch-all?
ID.
We'll delete that.
How did it sneak behind that?
So cheeky. There we go. It's running again now. What do you reckon? Is it going to work?
I hope so. But the good thing about this is like obviously the first time you do it, it's obviously going to take longer. But like once you actually have it set up, you don't need to do all of this again.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like
It's
it's.
just worked magically, hasn't it?
You sound awfully surprised that it's worked, Julian.
I'm loving it. All right, should we actually see what came out at the end?
Yeah,
Now, I think
this will be interesting.
this is not going to be perfect. So you can already see that I
Oh
think
God.
it's given us here's a clickbait title instead of just giving us a title. But if we actually go on edit and we'll see what the actual content is like.
So it looks like it's just copied. Oh no, actually.
It's just like you could actually just take that. And this is why you do need a manual editor, but you can take that and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if we look at the actual content, ever wondered how to get your website noticed faster? I've been there, and let me tell you, finding the best rapid website indexer can be a game changer. Let's dive into Indexceptional. It might just be the tool you've been looking for to boost your site's visibility. And then, of course, this signals H1. So that'll be a H1 heading right there, which is
Also, whenever there's a hashtag, it's H1.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Hey there, Julian, Goldie here. Ever felt like your website's just floating in a digital void waiting to be noticed? I've been there, and this is frustrating as hell. That's why I'm pumped to share my experience with the best rapid website indexer I've come across, Indexceptional.
Okay. What does two hashtags means? Does that mean that's a H2?
Yeah, H2, yeah. I know this because, like, from the SEO boardroom, it's all on Discord. And, like, to format the post really nicely, like, you use hashtags for H1 and then two hashtags for H2, etc.
Right, okay. I mean, it's not done a terrible job. I've definitely seen worse content. Yeah, it's okay. It can definitely be improved. What's your thoughts?
I would say, like, all right, let's grade it in terms of formatting. Formatting is good to go, right? It's got, like, the actual headings. It's every sentence on a new line. It's quite easy to read and it's very simplified, right? So, for example, if we already look at, like, what's ranking on Google, and you compare what's already ranking and the readability of that, which is ranking number 1, and you compare that side by side versus the readability of this article, and this is, bear in mind, this is already ranking number 1. Which one reads better? Which one reads more like a human?
And the exceptional stands out as the best rapid indexer. Ever wondered how to get your? I think they're both pretty decent.
I would say like that is kind of more generic fluff.
Well, I would argue that the reason why you're saying that, or well, the reason why it's ranking is because it's got more entities. So, like for example, Indexceptional is an entity, Index Me Now is an entity, Omega Indexer and Link Indexing and Giga Indexer. So I can see, yes, that is a little bit more fluffy, but it has done a good job of including all of the entities on one paragraph, whereas the one that we've just generated now, I don't think it has got like one monster paragraph in mentioning all of the brands.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It doesn't have the entities, but in
Hmm.
terms of how it's written, I would say the content here is written nicer and like
Yeah.
easier to read.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. And then also in terms of like the actual optimization on the page, I think the prompt should be tweaked so that it's
Hmm.
got more entities sprinkled throughout the content.
Yeah.
But I think like the actual headings, for example, like if you look best rapid website indexer, shocking results in minutes, uh, it includes the keyword in the introduction, includes the keyword in the title. I think the actual way it's written is entertaining, nicely formatted, probably better than what's already ranking on Google. Bear in mind, this is my subreddit that's ranking, like
Yeah.
you know. But you can, I would say, genuinely, this is better for the user. It might not be as good for SEO, but this is better for the actual user. And
Hmm.
so from there, it's quite easy for an editor to just go in and edit the content.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think the biggest thing that we should probably look at is the one that's ranking right now is better for search engines. The one that is spit out is probably better for users. You just want to find a happy balance of both. I would probably say,
Yeah.
because if you just optimize your content just for SEO, it probably won't make that much sense for the user to read it. And if you just optimize your content just for the user, Google won't understand like all the entities and all the LSIs and stuff. So try and find that happy balance of like a 50-50 split almost.
Yeah, I think as well, like you could just edit the prompts and then it would be a much better one. And if people want to see that, if people want to see us edit the prompts so that it's more SEO optimized in the workflow, then just feel free to comment below and we can do that for you. But honestly, I can tell you now, I've hired like copywriters off Upwork and places like that have created way worse content, like a million times worse content.
I believe that. Because I've done the same as well in the past, and it's not been great. So I mean, it's definitely better than the Fiverr garbage that you can get.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. So, and again, like I wouldn't publish that straight off the bat. I would use something like you can see inside my free course, which I'll show you in a second, where there's a quality control section. So if you go to the SEO quality control section, these processes right here can help you edit the content before you publish it so that it's number one SEO optimized, but number two, it's not just AI trash, like it's fact checked, it's humanized and reads really well. But what I'm going to do from here is inside the SEO system section inside my free course, links in the comments description. If we go to the edit section, I will upload the blueprint from make.com directly in here and you can just steal it from me for free and then just link it to Perplexity and Claude, and it's absolutely insane what you can do.
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. And if anyone wants to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session where we basically personalize everything that we've talked about today to your business to get more leads, traffic, and make more money from SEO, feel free to book there. Links in the comments and description. Appreciate you being on, Kasra. Cheers.
Thanks for having me.